Every now and then, you don't feel like you're doing a lot with music and you get into this rut. Believe me, I've been through it, but there is a way to get out of it. Hello everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood saxophone Alex. It's been quite some time since I've put out a chat with me video, and I think this is a good opportunity to talk about it. This lovely coffee was sponsored by Christian Marrero, great friend of mine back from Dreyfus and from Berkeley. Thank you so much, Christian. Thank you for supporting me. And if you want to support me like Christian did, buy me a coffee. Link is in the description down below. Being in a rut in any career is never a great thing. For journalists, for writers, you have writer's block. For musicians, you have a musical rut. And I imagine there are terms for many other careers out there. It's never a great thing. You feel like people are getting ahead in life and you're just staying still. You don't feel like you're doing things right. You feel like you're just being repetitive and not trying anything new. It's never a great feeling. And especially for musicians, for people who are creative, this is never a great feeling. And I've felt this many times before. Believe me, there have been times where I felt that I'm just one of those saxophone players that sounds like the rest of them. But there is a way out of it. Many of my teachers have told me that if you're in a rut, it's actually a great thing that you're in a rut. This plays a lot with your ego, and it's kind of giving you a check saying, listen, you've gotten to this level, and now you need to get better, and you have to find out how to get better. If you never have a musical rut, you'll never know if you're doing better or you're getting better. You're just thinking that you're doing everything right. So you have to have that check. So I know it sucks. You're feeling like you're being repetitive. You're feeling like you're not being creative. You feel like people are getting ahead in life and you're just staying still. It's good because then you're going to want to get out of this rut as quickly as possible.
Now, how do you get out of this rut?
Here are some methods. The first thing that I would recommend is writing down what you want to get better at. If you don't have any indication of what you need to be working on or what you want to achieve, then you're just in this limbo of, I'm just trying to create here without a goal in mind. Putting things into perspective and putting things on paper or at least on a computer or some Word document will give you some sort of perspective and a clear indication of what you want to do. If you write things down like goals where you want to learn how to improvise or you want to master that piece you've been trying to do for the past month, those are clear goals that you can achieve and you can attain. In fact, writing down your goals makes you more likely to achieve them. So, write them down, but make sure that they're attainable. You don't want to say you want to win a Grammy within 1 year because that may not be attainable at some, sort of level. But make sure within a week, within a month, within a couple of months, and within a year what you want to achieve. Whether it be mastering the altissimo on your saxophone or writing new music. Make sure you make these compartmentalized steps so that when you get to the moment where you finally achieve it, you can see how you got from point A to point B. This will help with the rest of the advice I'm going to give. So as long as you have those goals in mind and write them down, the rest of the steps will be so much more easy. Now that you have your goals written down, the next step is try planning out how you can specifically get to a goal, say within a week or say within a month. So you can write up a practice session and how you're gonna go about practicing throughout the week, or you can write up a schedule of when you're going to write a certain piece of music, things like that. Attainable, achievable, small bite-sized pieces of the goal that you can achieve on a daily basis or on a weekly basis so that you don't feel so overwhelmed about how big that goal can be. I understand that goals are huge. I'm trying to create an album this year. That's huge. But I'm trying to do bite-sized pieces, composing 1 song a week, practicing my saxophone every day on a certain subject so that I can get a certain part of my saxophone pedagogy down so I don't feel like I suck in the album. Things like that. Small little goals that you can achieve every single day so that you don't feel like you're failing at your goal every single day. For example, the way I approach saxophone to make sure that I'm improving and consistently trying to innovate on my saxophone is I take care of all the fundamentals, which is the technique, my tone, my clarity, my range, my intonation, my dexterity, my articulation, my speed, all of that. I take care of that. And I make sure that that's all available. I do all of those things so that I make sure that when I go to improvise, when I go to play a solo, play a standard, that I don't have any physical obstacles that go against my creativity. And that's a small little goal that I make every day. Make sure that my technique is up to date so that I can create without having to think whether or not I can play the saxophone. Now that you've devised a schedule on how you want to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, this is going to be a little contrary to what we've been already talking about. And I highly recommend this if you've been working very hard and you feel that you're not improving. And that is to take a break. We need to normalize taking breaks because it is very important to make sure that you can be functional when you're doing your work. And if you're not, it is okay to take breaks. It's okay to know that you need to take care of yourself and rest before you go back in there. I took about 2 months away from my saxophone from December to early February because I just felt that I needed the break. I needed the time to get myself together, to recollect myself emotionally and physically, and be prepared to work as hard as I am right now on the saxophone. You need to be emotionally and physically okay, safe, rested, sound, so that you can be creative on your instrument. The first couple of weeks of the break, I felt super relieved. I felt that a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. I didn't feel the pressure of being a saxophonist every single day. And I was trying to find what I needed emotionally and physically, whether it be nutrition, food, snacks, more snacks, snacks. But in all seriousness, just time to be able to think, time to be able to rest, to know that if I sat down for more than 15 minutes that I wouldn't feel bad for doing that. Again, it's okay to take breaks. And I knew it was time to get back on the sax when I felt excited to get back on the sax. Not that it was an obligation, but more so, man, I haven't played sax in a while. I really want to start practicing again because I feel the motivation, I feel the energy coming. And that's when you should get back on the sax, back on the grind, creating that schedule, creating that practice session, and honing in on your sax. Only when you feel emotionally and physically strong to do so. It is intense, and I've burned out many times because I did not take care of myself when I was practicing sax. So it is good to take breaks every once in a while. Now, the last recommendation I have is when you're in the grind, when you're playing your instrument, when you're composing, when you're doing all of these musical things and you feel like you're in a rut, try to translate all that creativity into a different medium. Back in the day, me and my wife would burn out consistently when at Berklee College of Music, and that is to be expected because having 16 credit workloads plus trying to gig, plus trying to do recording sessions, plus trying to learn about recording sessions, it piled up very quickly. So in order to not burn out as much as we did, we would take our creativity in different mediums, whether it be dancing, whether it be drawing, whether it be working out. All of these things are very valuable and translatable between the different arts. I think drawing and writing particularly are great ways to unload the stress that you had from your other taxing creative process. I am not a great artist, believe me. I cannot draw masterpieces and I'm very good at drawing stick figures. But when I do draw, it's really nice. It gives me kind of this creative aspect of drawing that reinvigorates my love for arts. And it passes the time really nice instead of sitting on your phone for 2 hours and just mindlessly scrolling through Facebook or Instagram. It puts your mind at ease and focuses you on one aspect of the task that you're doing. Plus, isn't it nice to draw something and then be happy about the end result? Even if it is a stick figure, if you draw that stick figure really well, you know you're going to be happy. I'd like to think that I would want my creativity to be very fluid, not exclusive to just music and jazz specifically. I want to have that translated from jazz to drawing and have the same inspiration and feeling and emotion in my drawings and in my writing and in my dancing, so on and so forth. So these are some of the things that I do in order to relieve myself from a musical rut and make sure that I don't stay there for too long. Remember, it is good to be there, but it is not good to stay there. And don't give up. I know you're creative. I know you can do great. This is only temporary, and hopefully with these tips you can get out of that rut very quickly. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed these helpful tips to get out of your musical rut. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for all your sax ed, jazz ed, beats, standards, and much, much more. Have a great week and stay saxy.